Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to yet another Audi review from me, Mark Thompson, the Tame Geek, and
John Redfern at Engage Sport Mode.
as you're going to see now, we've been out and had a little interesting drive in Audi's RSQ3 Performance Edition.
Performance. Don't forget that.
Yes, this is, if you can see in our feet there, Senna has come to join us for this video. So, John, do you want to give us a couple of the tech details on what we've got?
Well, 2.5 litre 5-cylinder engine with a quattro drivetrain. So harking back to the old school Audi drivetrain there. It's like the original quattro.
It's like the original Quattro,
Yeah.
but that was a car that people liked.
Well, it was 30 years ago as well, but this is
Yeah.
367 horsepower.
367 brake horse.
Yeah.
We've got a 7-speed DSG gearbox, and just Audi standard 4-wheel drive system. No kind of crazy Halodex or.
There'll be Haldex on the back
Yeah.
there. We've been on the that chassis, yeah.
So fairly standard fare for an RS model, realistically, but lifted and on the old chassis. This is kind of an old school car.
It is. I mean, the chassis, if we go back to that, there isn't so much steering feel. You're not getting anything back from it really. But then it's a fast Audi, and that's traditionally what a fast Audi has had. There's no feel from it.
Yeah, if you want feel, go for an R, like
I mean-
the R8.
I mean, there are exceptions like the S1 actually, but then as we've discussed before, the S1 is not a normal Audi.
No, the S1's the exception that proves the rule in the vast majority of cases. I think that's, as we've said a few times, the S1 is the R8 of the bottom end of the spectrum, because
But
it's that different.
There is elements of S1 in the RSQ3.
Yes, the
in-
pop-up screen.
Yeah.
£55,000 car and you get a pop-up screen.
And a lot of the dash looks like it's straight out of an S1 or A1. But no, the elements of silliness in terms of it's a bit silly, it's a bit un-Audi-like in terms of being a bit silly.
Yeah, it kind of makes no sense in existing.
Yeah.
And that, I suppose, is where we've had the most amount of trouble with trying to find who buys this car.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question. Who is walking in an Audi dealership and saying, I need that car?
Yeah, especially a performance version. I've only seen one RSQ3 in the real world that somebody uses as a daily driver, and I haven't seen any others, realistically.
I've seen, I think, one on the roads ever.
It might be the same one.
It could well be.
This car could just be for that guy that owns that one and is due an upgrade sometime
Which is
soon.
some very niche marketing if Audi have marketed a car to one guy in the UK.
I mean, yeah, social media targeted advertising is getting very good, but to be there as a manufacturer
Yeah.
to make a car for one person, that's some next level thinking.
I mean, elements of it are, it's a compromise car in some respect. This is when you want a performance car, but you still need some semblance of practicality.
Well, practicality, and given that it's got a boot, because you can't really put anybody taller than a average 6-year-old in the back.
If you've got kids 6 and under, then it's practical.
Yeah, but unfortunately, kids grow. And so if you're keeping this car and the children get bigger, they're going to complain more. Which is fine, because you just put your foot down and you end your journey quicker. That's a nice thing.
Yeah, actually, there you go. You end your journey quicker with whinging kids.
Yes. Well, you probably shut them up a bit. But here's the thing. There's no hit of torque. Not that we've been used to. In some of the stuff that we've been driving, there's no sort of hit of the whole fruit as you really give it some beats.
It takes effort. It's a
I
peaky
couldn't mix those
unit.
metaphors more.
No. It's a peaky unit to extract the power from, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
you've got to be right the way up it. And that again goes back to that old school charm. It does kind of make you think, okay, this is a car that needs my attention. But then it doesn't when it doesn't respond through the steering in the way you think it should, or...
I mean, the DSG gearbox hinders it to an extent as well, because it can be a bit slow to kick down, or then it'll kick down and it'll confuse itself as to what gear it needs to be in.
Yeah, the sport mode on the gearbox in just sport auto was antsy, to say the best. That's as polite as I can be about it. But in manual paddle mode, no problem. Just nice
Yeah.
quick shifts. No kicking the trousers on the shifts. So we've covered some practicality. We've covered a bit of what it's like to drive, because realistically, there's not a lot to write home about other than it's quick in a straight line.
It is quick and straight line. It rides not horrendously, given it's on 20-inch wheels.
Yeah,
It's actually not bad, given it's
that's
on
a compliment it can have.
huge wheels,
The
low
wheels
profile
work.
tyres, stiff suspension. It actually rides not horrendously,
It has brakes the size of economy cars.
with wavy discs,
Yes.
which are cool because they're wavy.
Yes, it's definitely cool to have wavy discs.
8-piston calipers and wavy discs are cool.
You don't need to explain wavy discs to people like you do carbon ceramics.
No, it's just they're wavy. They're cool.
Yeah, people are going to get that.
Yeah.
I've got cool brakes. And they're very cool given how open those alloys are as well, so the cooling's not too bad. And are those fake ducts at the front? I can't remember if we checked.
I didn't check. I like to think they're real. I imagine they might be real.
I knew you'd like to think
I'd
they're
like to
real.
think they're
It's not
real.
going to mean they're real. And this is the thing. It's
Styling wise,
oh,
it looks pretty good. I think it looks quite strong.
as we've discussed from the front. Yes, it's got the new grille. It's got like that 3-dimension trapezoidal grille going on that came first on the Q7. And I remember the first time I saw it, I went, that looks horrendous, that makes no sense. Then I saw it in the metal, and I saw how it interacted with the body panels, and I went, okay, yeah, now I get this. It's a bit like the new A5. The pictures look boring, but every report I've seen is, wait till you see it in the metal. So there is a science to making a car look bad in a picture, and Audi seem to have done that, but making it look better in person. There's something fascinating about that.
But also the matte titanium trim on it.
Oh yes,
That is cool.
Yes.
I like that. That is definitely cool.
When we are being subjective, we like that.
Yeah.
Because the matte titanium finish means it looks like you've paid for it rather than the black editions, which means it just looks like they forgot to add trim. I don't get how Audi can charge you more for getting to put on the shiny trim.
Because Audi, that's like
yeah,
because Audi.
because Audi. And that puts us into the kind of place where we're coming to a summing up and a verdict. I think.
Yeah, I think we're
Yeah.
objectively it's very expensive. It's not massively practical. It's not the best thing in the world to drive.
Subjectively, it's got a turn of pace in it that you will enjoy,
5-cylinder engine.
which you'll love listening
It
to.
sounds cool.
And if you're a little bit mad and you don't have to or need to explain yourself to many people, this is the kind of car that you could buy,
Yeah.
because it makes very little sense.
And that is probably the biggest thing about it that's good, is that it doesn't make any sense. It's a pointless car, but that makes it good.
And there we have the worrying thing. Audi are the place where they can make pointless cars. They're at the place where they can do whatever they like because they'll sell it because of the brand value on it. It would be like Apple releasing a phone made of foam because they know people will
People will
buy it.
still buy it.
Yeah.
But it's like we said before, it's a post-expert car. From an expert
Yeah.
point of view, objectively, it doesn't make sense. But that's all the more reason I actually quite like it, because it doesn't make sense.
Yes, it appeals to the less educated part of you. We say this as John is sat wearing his baseball cap inside.
Yep.
Because we're recording audio and, he didn't want his hair to be recorded. Yes, it is a post-expert car in the fact that there is pretty much nothing in the way of a subjective fact that makes it a logical buying decision, and will probably come back to bite you in the arse 2 years down the line when you need to move it on.
Quite possibly, yeah.
So yes, it's got a lot of the post-expert to it in that regard. So there we have it. We've talked about the RS Q3 Performance Edition, and established that it's the post-expert car.
I think that's our conclusion there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a vehicle for people who do not really consider the facts in making a decision, which seem to be absolutely perfect for Britain right now. I expect to see thousands of them, if not tens of thousands of them, on your road over the next year.
But as experts, can we recommend it?
As experts, I can't recommend that car. Not at all. Go for an RS3. It's newer, cheaper, faster, lighter, harder, better, stronger, arguably cooler, better exhausts.
One exhaust is good.
2 exhausts better.
No, one.
No, two exhausts better. Argue that one out in the comments below. 1 exhaust or 2. And also whether or not you like the car. I've been Mark Thompson.
I've been John Redfern.
And this has been another Team Up video. Hopefully the next one we'll try not for an Audi. Promise. Promise.